Lei Jizhu cast invisibility but was hindered by his speed. Moreover, the man he was chasing wielded a powerful celestial artifact, another reason Lei Jizhu couldn't catch up. Lei Jizhu asked if I wanted to keep searching. I shook my head, deciding to head straight to rescue Lord Zhou Yuan. Lei Jizhu flew forward with me as I stayed alert and observant. After 10 minutes, a massive spiritual light appeared in the distance, bound by thick chains like a prison. Inside the light came thunder and the crackle of burning flames. My blood-boiled Lord Zhou Yuan was imprisoned and being tortured. They were trying to force him to surrender, to repair the heavenly realm's formation. I wanted nothing more than to rush in immediately. After all, Lord Zhou Yuan had risked his life to save me. But Lei Jizhu warned, "Sir, there's someone over there." I caught sight of a serene immortal standing before the spiritual light, eyes closed, dressed in a Taoist robe, a wooden sword strapped to his back, bearing an aloof aura, as if cultivating his spirit. His aura was ordinary, but his strength was exceptional. He guarded alone, giving me a headache. He definitely wasn't Erlang, then who could he be? Where was the great immortal who had trapped Lord Zhou Yuan with the Golden Lotus? Could it be that Erlang and the Golden Lotus were inside the spiritual light, torturing Lord Zhou Yuan? At such a critical moment, rescue called for calm, not recklessness. I used my divine sight to scan carefully but found no other figures or alternative entrances to the light. So, for now, there was only one way: take down this great immortal first, then break through the light. I prepared to attack, instructing Lei Jizhu to stealthily approach step by step for a surprise strike. Lei Jizhu, cloaked in invisibility, advanced slowly, 100 meters, 50 meters, 30 meters. The immortal remained with closed eyes, but suddenly snapped them open. Lei Jizhu immediately halted as I fixed my gaze on the immortal. He didn't look at us but rather toward another direction, his eyes flickering with immortal light. Following his gaze, I saw vague figures swirling in the flames. The man we'd seen earlier had been discovered. The immortal bellowed angrily, "Who's skulking there? Show yourself at once!" He charged toward the figure, and the next moment, a deafening boom rang out. Though the figure wielded a celestial artifact, they couldn't withstand even one strike from the immortal and were sent flying. I stared in shock. The figure was a woman? Could she be a friend of Lord Zhou Yuan's in the celestial realm? She refused to back down, readjusted her stance, and counterattacked. Though on the back foot, she continued to resist fiercely. My eyes flickered. Lei Jizhu quickly asked what to do next. This unexpected turn had drawn the immortal's attention. Since she shared my goal, I needed to seize this chance, break the spiritual light and rescue Lord Zhou Yuan. No hesitation, I gave the order. Lei Jizhu responded promptly and dashed toward the spiritual light. I clenched my fist, the void twisted as a vortex formed and I unleashed a powerful punch. Boom! The punch roared through the air, causing violent ripples in the spiritual light that surged like waves. Such impressive immortal technique. Now, even my punch couldn't break it. But judging by the reaction, it wouldn't take 5 punches before the barrier shattered. I gathered strength and fired a second punch. The immortal snapped his head around, shocked. "There's someone here? Hiding someone? Who?" He sped toward me, with the female figure surprisingly in pursuit. Boom! I delivered the second punch. The spiritual light trembled violently. Just as I threw a third punch, the immortal roared, "How dare you!" Bang! A beam of golden light slammed into me. Ignoring the attack, I followed through with my third punch. Boom! The spiritual light quaked. The golden light hit my back but caused no pain. I met it with my bare body, shattering the golden light. Lei Jizhu's invisibility was broken. I stood midair, foot on a massive sword. The immortal was stunned. "Who are you?" He didn't recognize me. I was a complete stranger. I gathered energy and struck a fourth punch. He bellowed in fury, "How dare you! Draw your sword!" Behind him, a celestial sword shot skyward, its light cutting through the air. Just as it was about to decapitate me, I reached back and caught the blade barehanded, sparks flying. I smirked. After consuming celestial pills and peaches, this kind of immortal weapon couldn't harm me. The immortal's face changed suddenly. "Your body is so tough? Catching a sword barehanded? You must be an artifact made flesh." Boom! I squeezed hard, the sword blade warped. He was shocked. "You're a Taishan Laojun artifact?" He assumed I was an artifact, which explained how I was able to overpower the immortal sword. "Be gone!" I growled, hurling him and his sword 50 meters away. My strength was on a completely different level. I said coldly, "You're no match. If you want to stop me, call Erlang to intervene." Then I smashed out my fourth punch. Only Erlang or the Golden Lotus were truly capable of stopping me. The spiritual light violently distorted, and as I punched again, it was like popping a balloon, tearing a huge hole open. Phew! A terrifying stench like scorched alchemical herbs burst out. I could only imagine how deeply Lord Zhou Yuan suffered inside. I didn't hesitate, plunging in through the opening. I didn't want to waste a second. Figures in the distance flew fast toward us. At that moment, the immortal I had thrown flew up, furious. Impudent artifact spirit! How dare you defy me? He discarded the broken sword and cast a spell, shooting out a golden celestial rope. The rope moved incredibly fast, instantly wrapping around my waist and tightening with force. I frowned and glanced at the approaching great immortal again. With his other hand, he cast another spell, reaching out toward me in midair. The air instantly tensed as a massive hand materialized, gripping me tightly. A cold sneer appeared on the great immortal's face. My expression reverted to cold indifference as I casually pinched the celestial rope around my waist. With a loud bang, the rope snapped, freeing me from its grip. The great immortal's eyes widened in shock. My body trembled slightly before I threw a fierce punch. The giant hand clutching me instantly deformed and shattered, fragments scattering in the whirlwind. My strength shattered his giant hand in an instant. At the same time, the great immortal's spellcasting hand tore open, blood dripping from the wound. I originally wanted you to live a bit longer, but you forced my hand. Fine. Today, Long Shiba is unleashing slaughter. Anyone who tormented the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord will die without a trace. I growled low and yanked hard on the celestial rope. The great immortal, tethered to the other end like a kite, was pulled toward me. His face filled with shock. You're Long Shiba? Is there really a second Long Shiba in the world daring to wreak havoc in heaven? I grabbed him firmly, clenched my fist tightly, and slammed down with all my might. His face changed instantly. He had assumed just now that I was merely a tough immortal weapon without a brain, but he never expected my reaction and speed to surpass his expectations. Underestimating me nearly cost him his life. He desperately tried to dodge, but my punch was too fast and powerful for him to avoid. Boom! With a thunderous sound, the great immortal was blasted like a meteor, flying 10 meters back, blood spilling from his mouth. In a desperate move, he conjured a shield, but my punch shattered it, and shards embedded in his shoulder. It was that shield that had saved his life, otherwise, he would have died then and there. I pulled him back again, grabbing his neck tightly. Panic flashing in his eyes, he struggled. How is this possible? Not long ago, they said you couldn't even leave South Heavenly Gate, yet now your cultivation has grown so fast? What exactly have you experienced? I stared at him coldly. If I told him that I had plundered Duosui Palace and the Peach Garden, gaining my current strength, would he realize that me injuring him with a single punch was no surprise? That thought gave me confidence. Maybe my gap with Erlang wasn't that big after all. I'll spare your life for now. Lead the way. Still holding his neck, I charged into the spiritual light, dragging him along. Recovering from shock, he sneered, Long Shiba, you're courting death. You think defeating me means you can take Erlang? I am merely one of his subordinates. I don't know what fortune you've encountered, but expecting to face Erlang with your current strength is wishful thinking. I ignored him. Since things had come this far, I wasn't afraid of Erlang showing up. In fact, I hoped he would appear so we could settle this face to face. I didn't want any sneak attacks, his versatile magic was my weakness. I just had to avoid exposing myself. I scanned the spiritual light and felt the temperature soar, about 20 times hotter than outside. The immortal flames were an eerie blue. I didn't feel the burn, but the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord, already brutalized, probably couldn't endure much longer. Worse, these immortal flames didn't just scorch the flesh, they threatened the soul, as if designed to burn divine essence. Focusing my mind to protect my soul, I tightened my grip on the great immortal's neck. Take me to the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord. I, Long Shiba, can spare your life. Otherwise, I'll crush you. He sneered coldly. You dare. Clearly confident in Erlang and the Golden Lotus, he was certain I wouldn't kill him, intending to keep him hostage. My gaze turned icy. With forceful fingers, I heard a crack as his neck compressed. He gasped, terrified, begging, stop, don't. I eased my grip slightly. I'm not joking. If I dared cause havoc in heaven twice, why wouldn't I be able to kill you? Lead the way. I needed him to lead because something was off here. Divine vision was blocked, this place was like a labyrinth. The spiritual light was filled with traps to prevent the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord's escape, but those traps also obstructed my rescue attempt. The great immortal caught my meaning and grew wary. Sorry, I can't lead you. I shot him a cold glare. This fire palace is half real and half illusion, made of flames and immortal stones. I watch outside, but once inside, I lose my way. You didn't enter through the front gate, you broke in halfway. I have no clue how to find the way out, he said awkwardly. I glanced at him and sensed he was telling the truth. Are Erlang and the others really guarding here? I asked as I looked around. The blue flames appeared ephemeral and strange. There was no clear path ahead, just fire everywhere. This was bad. This place was basically a giant maze, or more like an illusion. Finding the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord here would probably take days. Probably, the great immortal nodded. Then have I overestimated you? You're useless to me now, I squinted. This is content segment 92 out of 121. Please see the translated and adapted text below, retaining the original paragraph structure, line breaks, and overall layout. The immortal's eyes widened in shock. You want to do what? Boom! I suddenly squeezed my fingers, and with a pft sound, he was blasted flying 100 meters away. The immortal screamed in pain, coughing up blood wildly, floating motionless in the air. I glanced at him, and with a slight flick of my finger, I sent the thunderstrike bamboo flying out. About a kilometer later, a figure followed closely behind. I casually gestured, and blue flames burst up around us, encircling our perimeter. I stopped and fixed my gaze on the immortal up ahead. The newcomer looked equally surprised. Sir, you didn't really go all out on him, right? Thunderstrike Bamboo whispered. If I wanted him dead, I would have smashed his head off long ago, I said, my eyes flickering. Since this immense maze was so complicated, and I couldn't find the Nine-Origin Demon Lord anytime soon, I had to try another approach. I would let someone else come find me. The immortal would inevitably sneak a secret message to Erlang. As long as he could follow the guidance to find the Nine-Origin Demon Lord, it would mean he'd found her for me. 10 minutes later, the unconscious immortal suddenly woke up, coughing blood. I hadn't broken his neck after all. His face was full of disbelief and shock. He obviously didn't expect to still be alive. Want to kill me, huh? You're still too green, he sneered, warily scanning the surroundings but couldn't spot me. Quickly, he pulled out a golden token and began communicating. Erlang, something's wrong. Long Shiba has broken in. I saw him use the immortal token to send the message. Half my plan had succeeded. Erlang, he's gotten exceptionally strong, even I'm no match. You told me not to interfere yet? Fine, I'm on my way. The next second, Erlang's reply startled the immortal. The golden token glowed and flew up on its own, obviously guided by Erlang's spell. The immortal took an elixir to restore his energy and immediately followed the light. A knot tightened in my chest. Could something have gone wrong with Erlang? Even I broke in, and they seemed unconcerned? Could it be that the Nine-Origin Demon Lord was killed by them? My anxiety soared as if a loved one's life hung in the balance. I told Thunderstrike Bamboo to cloak and cover the newcomer, then quickly followed. I didn't care who she was, all I knew was she shared my goal. Just as the immortal said, this place was filled with lingering spiritual light and illusions, like a maze of mirrors, with no sense of direction. Without his guidance, I couldn't have gotten in at all. I instructed Thunderstrike Bamboo to keep a safe distance so Erlang wouldn't notice us, otherwise, all would be lost. The immortal kept flying ahead, and I couldn't take my eyes off him. But suddenly, I felt a pair of eyes watching me. Looking closely, nothing seemed amiss. I frowned deeply, straining my vision but finding nothing. Could it be my imagination? I whispered to myself. Being anxious makes one prone to mistakes. I asked one of the followers beside me, do you feel like someone's watching you? He shook his head. My gaze flickered. At this cultivation level, nothing unusual could escape my sight. Who are you? I asked. He shook his head without answering, but in his hands was a golden immortal artifact, glowing and enveloping his entire body. I couldn't see his true face, but I could feel he meant no harm and that he kept staring at me. Had he seen me before? Did he know me? I couldn't dwell on it, my gaze stayed locked forward. After 10 minutes of flight, the immortal ahead suddenly vanished in a flash. Were we discovered? We were just one step away from meeting the Nine-Origin Demon Lord. Would it all be in vain now? My heart tightened when a scream pierced the air. It was the immortal shouting, Nine-Origin Demon Lord? How can it be you? You actually escaped on your own? His words stunned me, filling me with unexpected joy and elation. So that was why Erlang hadn't intervened earlier, because something happened on their side, and the Nine-Origin Demon Lord escaped by her own magic. I immediately thought of that golden figure that appeared in desperation at the southern heavenly gate. She had saved me before. Now it was my turn to save her. Though it seemed coincidental, it was enough to excite me. This way, I wouldn't have to fight Erlang and the others, I could just take the Nine-Origin Demon Lord away. The people around me looked surprised as well. I hastily commanded Thunderstrike Bamboo to rush forward. Sure enough, a person wrapped in golden light appeared. It was the Nine-Origin Demon Lord. Her image was etched deeply in my mind. But her golden glow was much dimmer now, clearly severely injured, her energy greatly depleted. The priority was to safely bring her away. The immortal had already fainted, so I appeared right in front of her. Nine-Yuan Demon Lord, it's me. She visibly froze. I know you. I'd heard this voice before at the southern heavenly gate. I was overwhelmed with excitement. After all, my entire mission was to save her. Seeing her so weak, guilt flooded my heart, and I vowed to make it up to her. In my heart, there aren't many who truly care about me. She is one of them, and so is my master, Jiang Joshuan, though I have no idea where my master is now. I silently vowed that once I left the immortal realm, I'd find my master. It's been so long since I last saw her, I miss her deeply. Nine-Yuan Demon Lord, let's go. I'll take you out of this hellish immortal realm, I said. I didn't reach out to grab her because I held a deep reverence for her. Touching her felt disrespectful. That was my way of showing respect. The Nine-Yuan Demon Lord nodded. All right. She flew over and stood on the thunderstruck bamboo sword, glancing back at where I stood. Only then did a weight lift from my heart. I asked the thunderstruck bamboo if she remembered the path from earlier. She said she did. I breathed a sigh of relief and told the bamboo to hurry and take us out. In a flash, she turned back. But without a great immortal guiding us, problems soon arose. As thunderstruck bamboo flew, the semi-real, semi-illusory void around us threw her off. Sir, I'm sorry, I'm lost, she said apologetically. My heart sank. Not just her, I was confused too. This place was too strange. But we couldn't stand still trying to find the way. Erlang and the Golden Lotus were definitely closing in. Just as anxiety gripped me, the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord spoke. I know the way. Fly forward. A surge of hope filled me. I'd almost forgotten how powerful she was. This ghostly place couldn't possibly confuse someone like her. I told thunderstruck bamboo to listen to her, and she responded, flying onward. I held my breath, hoping we'd soon escape this cursed place. Sure enough, following the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord, I felt the exit drawing near. I kept glancing back, wary of being pursued by Erlang and his allies. Thankfully, no pursuit appeared for now. It seemed we might escape unscathed. Ahead, a distorted light appeared. My heart leapt. It was the exit I had personally opened. We'd arrived. Thunderstruck bamboo and the shadowy figure beside her both visibly relaxed. Thunderstruck bamboo, fly quickly, I urged. With a whoosh, thunderstruck bamboo shot us out of the cavern, and with a soft thud, we left that place behind. I looked around, no other great immortals in sight. It seemed Dragon Mother was still holding back those two. Thunderstruck bamboo, let's find Sister Long first. I need to bring her with us, I said. I couldn't just abandon her. But as we flew on, I saw no sign of Dragon Mother and couldn't contact her. A bad feeling settled in. Could it be that Dragon Mother was struck down by those two immortals right then and there? Anxiety gnawed at me. At that moment, the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord said, bad news. Erlang expanded his spell's range. Everything before us has become half real, half fake. He's trying to stop our escape. Hearing this, my expression darkened immediately. Sure enough, the immortal flames ahead turned blue. She quickly added, but don't be afraid. I know the weakness of his magic. After casting, there's a vulnerable spot, a flaw he might not even realize himself. Come, head this way. The Nine-Yuan Demon Lord pointed the way, and only then did I relax a little. She was truly formidable, able to see through Erlang's weakness. No wonder Erlang and several great immortals had to join forces to suppress this place. Thunderstruck bamboo hesitated. I had insisted from the start that we bring Dragon Mother along, and the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord agreed, of course, but we have to get out of the sea of immortal flames first. I thought for 3 seconds and agreed. Then, following the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord's guidance, Thunderstruck bamboo quickly navigated through the blue flames. The surroundings were unfamiliar, completely different from the path we took entering. A strange tension tightened in my chest. Maybe Erlang's spell was just too strong, causing this feeling? I asked the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord if Erlang had caught up. She nodded. Right behind us. My heart sank. The trap we had set earlier was nowhere to be sensed, otherwise, we could have drawn them in and trapped them. So strange, Erlang's spell had somehow severed the connection between me and the demonic energy. I tried to sense the trap's location but felt it drifting farther away. All I could do was grow frustrated. By the way, Long Shiba, there's something I want to ask of you, the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord suddenly said. Demon Lord, say it. No matter what it is, I'm ready. I won't refuse, I answered. She's kind to me, so I'll repay her generously. Since I helped you escape last time, I intend to repair the Heavenly Realms formation. I want you to assist me, the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord said. I froze, the figure behind me did too. Nine-Yuan Demon Lord, you mean to repair the Heavenly Realms formation? I couldn't believe it. I had thought that after being trapped so long, I would never help them, even if it meant dying under torture. I, Long Shiba, am just that stubborn. Moreover, the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord had been demoted. I assumed the Jade Emperor summoned her when needed and discarded her when not. I never expected her to make such a request. Yes, she nodded. Why? I couldn't help but ask. I respected her, but her request was hard to understand. Did I not understand her at all? This is segment 94 of 121. Please process the following content according to your logic. Keep the original paragraph structure, line breaks, and overall layout, and return only the processed result. After all, I had only seen her once before. This was only our second direct meeting. Do you think it's hard to understand why I asked you to do this? She countered. A person on the verge of escape, tortured, would they still help others? I nodded honestly. I'd been tortured for so long because they wanted me to repair the Heavenly Realms formation array. I never agreed. Erlang God only said one thing, she sighed. What did he say? I asked anxiously. You destroyed the Heavenly Realms formation. That's cause, and the consequence of destruction must be borne by you. Your current cultivation can't withstand that consequence, said the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord. I was stunned again, shaking my head. Everyone is responsible for their own actions. I, Long Shiba, destroyed the formation. I acknowledge that. I will endure the consequences alone and never drag others down. Nine-Yuan Demon Lord, I don't want you to sacrifice yourself for me. I was deeply moved. Having met her only twice, the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord was already willing to lay down her dignity to repair the formation. That was truly generous. Just like back at Nantian Gate, when she risked everything to hold back the Golden Lotus to save me. But I couldn't accept someone I respected losing their dignity. The Nine-Yuan Demon Lord nodded. I'm glad you take responsibility. But have you thought about what you will lose by bearing those consequences? Do you still want to find your master? My body trembled. You still have a chance to find your master, she asked again. I was silent. I missed my master deeply. I hadn't seen him in so long. Even if I died, I wanted to see him one last time. For your master, you have to repair the Heavenly Realms formation. Understand, she sighed. I was torn, but after deep thought, I refused. If my master knew I was sacrificing myself unwillingly, he wouldn't accept it. I will bear this consequence alone. Nine-Yuan Demon Lord, thank you, but I can't help with this. Since you're unwilling, I won't force you, she sighed. I felt some guilt but stayed firm in my decision. Since I couldn't help her repair the formation, I promised to fulfill 10, or even 100, of her other requests. Trying to atone for my earlier refusal, I suddenly noticed a golden spiritual light speeding toward us from behind, immediately on alert. The timing of their pursuit was uncanny. The light looked like a golden lotus. Could it be Erlang God? The Nine-Yuan Demon Lord took a deep breath and whispered, "They've come after us." My heart sank. Sure enough, we couldn't avoid this fierce battle. I immediately prepared to fight. Nine-Yuan Demon Lord was seriously injured. I couldn't let her face the pursuers alone. Seeing me ready to strike, she knew I intended to use the Heavenly Demon Finger for a sneak attack. The pursuer is Erlang God. Sneak attacks won't work, his divine eyes can see through them. Nine-Yuan Demon Lord stopped me. Though confident, she was right. I still had the golden light slash as a backup. She handed me a gleaming golden short blade. Use this to distract him. I'll sneak attack. It's forged from 10,000-year-old adamantine. It can break through immortal bodies. I took the blade, feeling its heavy weight, like 1,000 pounds, yet alive with vitality. Since she was so confident, I decided to use this blade to strike. Long Shiba, be careful, she warned. You too, I replied. She nodded and took off. I said to the figure behind me, find somewhere to hide. You can't join this fight. It wasn't underestimating them, but my heartbeat raced as I felt a terrifying pressure, the aura of Erlang God. The figure nodded and dashed toward the nearby Thunderstrike bamboo. I gripped the broken blade tightly, activating the invisibility of the Thunderstrike bamboo to the fullest, rushing toward Erlang God. But our timing was off. Their sudden burst caught us off guard, and Nine-Yuan Demon Lord was struck and thrown back. I was shocked, watching her crash into a glowing red boulder. Her injuries could worsen. That almost killed her instantly. I was ready to strike but didn't expect the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord to be so severely hurt. The plan was ruined. I had to abandon the sneak attack and ordered Thunderstrike bamboo to speed up. I flashed behind Erlang God. just as I prepared to catch her and face Erlang in battle. Suddenly, the weight of the short blade in my hand surged, increasing from 1,000 pounds to 100,000. My hand froze, unable to move. Looking down, the broken blade was gone, replaced by a thick chain wrapped around my wrist, immobilizing my arm. I was stunned. What trick was this? Rage exploded within me. You aren't the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord. You're Erlang. The Nine-Yuan Demon Lord who had been knocked back had vanished. Only then did I realize the one speaking to me was never the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord. From the moment I stepped into the spiritual light, I had been trapped. No wonder I had been watched all along. Probably Erlang's divine eyes detected me as I entered the sea of immortal flames. He had set this trap. Impressive. The golden light chasing us suddenly flickered and disappeared. Suddenly, eerie sounds surrounded me, countless chains wildly clashing, menacing and intense. Just restraining one hand wasn't enough. Clearly, they intended to trap all my limbs. Lei Jizhu exclaimed, "Sir, the aura of celestial artifacts around us is intense. We've walked into a trap." I calmly shook my head, my sharp eyes scanning the surroundings. What's the point of hiding? If I had agreed earlier to help repair the heavenly realm array, I'd probably have been dragged out of the immortal realm by now. You've taken me on a wild goose chase for half the day. Aren't you tired? I said coolly. The only thing keeping me sane right now was the fact that I was still alive in this spiritual blow that meant there was still hope to rescue the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord. No sooner had I finished speaking than, with a loud bang, a thick chain, like a giant python, suddenly coiled around one of my ankles. Then a second, a third. In less than a second, all four of my limbs were bound by chains. The speed was astonishing. A figure in the distance froze in place. She clearly hadn't seen through the illusion that the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord just now was a disguise. To put so much effort just to bind me? Erlang, your name precedes you, but your actions today have really lowered my opinion of you. I glanced at the chains indifferently, showing no sign of panic. Erlang had approached me disguised as someone else, which meant my strength earlier had made him wary. Reveal yourself, Erlang, the true manifestation god. I ordered coldly. Not far away, golden light flashed. A tall man armored in gold, with stern sword-shaped eyebrows, appeared. The third eye on his forehead shone brightly. Seeing his true form, I realized his earlier transformation into the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord was incredibly skillful. Even my divine eyes couldn't tell the fake from the real. Looks like I'll need to find some time to train these eyes more seriously. Long Shiba, I ask again, are you willing to come with me to repair the heavenly realm array? Erlang's voice resonated loudly. I shook my head. No. You destroyed the heavenly realm array. This is your chance to redeem yourself, he continued. Cut the nonsense. Hearing of Erlang's fame today is one thing, but what I want to know is how many moves you can land on me. I stared at him calmly. He said coldly, you're not even worthy for me to personally strike. You think some brute force makes you invincible? Want to fight me? First escape these demon-capturing chains. He added, prepare to stay here for 1,000 years. Clearly, he believed these 4 chains could bind me for a millennium. I couldn't deny the chains were extraordinary. Anyone else might truly have been trapped. But I'm different. After consuming tens of thousands of pills and peaches, I sneered, tensing my hands hard with a bang. The thick chains instantly straightened out. Their hidden source must be buried deep underground. They really went all out on this. Don't waste your effort. I torment you daily with 18 heavenly thunderbolts, 380 celestial fires, and 6,000 divine swords. As long as you don't surrender, the torture never stops and only gets worse. Let's see how long you can last. He stared at me impassively. Though expressionless, doubt stirred in my mind. Had he failed to torture the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord, and thus turned to me as a consolation? What's become of the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord? Things don't look good. First, feel my 18 heavenly thunderbolts. Erlang waved his hand. A thunderbolt as thick as a man condensing within celestial flames struck fiercely at me. The lightning raged like a storm, yet I didn't resist nor even blink. Is that all? Such thunderbolts no longer affected me. Even hundreds striking at once would barely make me frown. Erlang's pupils constricted, and he immediately unleashed 3 more thunderbolts. Thunder roared above, the energy was ferocious. I pulled hard, one hand glowing golden, veins bulging, humming loud. The chains emitted a warning creak. I gave it my all and with a boom, the sturdy chains started to warp and snapped in the middle. As soon as I moved, the chains tangled around my fists. These demon-capturing chains are nothing. I sneered, using my other hand to pull tighter. Boom! The second chain shattered, breaking into pieces over my fists. My fists were now as large as water jars. Erlangshan's face changed for the first time, surprise flashing briefly. Impressive strength. I kicked sharply, with a loud bang, the chain around my ankle broke. The last chain didn't hold much longer and exploded with a crash, shattering into several segments. Honestly, these chains weren't even as strong as Sister Lingdong's golden straw. If Sister Lingdang herself had done this, I might have been a little worried. Now free, Erlangshan no longer blocked my path. He clearly knew these demon-capturing chains couldn't hold me. I fixed him with a stare. Erlangshan, aren't you going to show me your three-pronged double-edged sword? His eyes narrowed. Calmly, he said, no wonder you dared cause trouble twice in the Heavenly Palace. You're somewhat talented, but just barely. Good. Now show me all your skills. Remember, no ordinary moves, bring out your strongest. My greatest strength is my own body. With my foot stepping on the thunderstruck bamboo, I charged forward, my fist bound by the devil-capturing chain smashing toward Erlangshan. This punch was full of fury. A golden aura burst from Erlangshan's body, his divine protective light shimmering. But my eyes shifted and my expression suddenly changed, he was a clone. I halted my punch. What's wrong? Not going to strike? Voices came from different directions. I glanced around and saw a second Erlangshan quietly appear. My heart skipped a beat, I hadn't realized the first one was a fake. Still not attacking? Third, fourth, and fifth voices sounded in succession. Within 10 seconds, 10 Erlangshans gathered around me. Their true forms were indistinguishable, their cloning technique was extraordinarily refined. I frantically widened my divine sight but still couldn't tell who was real. Admit it, your body is decent, but my cultivation of the 8-9 mystical arts lets me create 73 clones. I'm only showing you 10 out of respect. Take down these 10, then we'll see who's stronger. The 10 Erlangshans spoke in unison. A heavy weight settled in my chest, even breaking the devil-capturing chain wouldn't make me a match. He was toying with me. Not striking? Then I'll make a move. With that, the 10 Erlangshans attacked. Facing 10 opponents, I refused to be passive. As soon as they closed in, I launched my counterattack. Fists roared like thunder, one punch after another, the shadows reverberating space, sounding like sonic booms. Boom! 2 clones shattered instantly. These clones bore 73 divine abilities. When broken, they shattered into starlight without harming the original. The remaining 8 clones showed no expression, striking golden palm lights like miniature suns, blinding and fierce. One transformed into a sword light sharp and cutting, another spat multicolored radiance, seeming to contain all the universe. The 8 unleashed rare divine skills simultaneously, aiming to severely injure me. I could only respond with my fists. The punches fell like a storm, smashing through their golden shields into fragments. Then I shattered the 3rd clone. Grabbing the sword-wielding clone's blade with one hand, I felt sharp spikes but no flesh was broken. I crushed the weapon and slammed a punch to its head. Boom, the 4th clone exploded. Fists kept flying. Clones 5, 6, 7, and 8 fell one after another. Only 2 isolated clones remained. Surrounded on all sides, I bore all attacks with my body, unscathed. Seeing my chance, I grabbed the neck of one with a golden hammer and squeezed hard. Boom! The 9th clone burst into dust. The last one spat out spiritual light. That light nearly caught me off guard, but I slapped at it like swatting a fly. Crash! Fingers hit together, a gale surged from my hands, and with a pop, struck Erlangshan right in front. He shattered instantly and disappeared utterly. Now, those 10 clones were all destroyed by my fists and feet. I looked up, stretching my neck, arms, and legs, my hands making muffled pounding sounds. Erlangshan, I'm ready. Let's officially start the battle. No sooner had I spoken than the Erlangshan above coldly stared at me, still not drawing his triple-pointed double-edged blade. I held nothing back, pointing a finger in the air. If we're going all out, I won't hold anything back. Boom! A huge black finger appeared over his head, stabbing down violently. This was the first time I used that heaven-extinguishing devil finger since truly mastering it. The finger plunged down, producing a giant whirlpool atop Erlangshan's head as violent power erupted. He looked up, coldly saying, "Heaven-extinguishing devil finger?" Boom! The black finger struck his body, but I didn't feel any joy. Watching closely, I realized the black finger had vanished a moment before contact. The finger hit only his afterimage. Still, the finger came down heavy with deafening noise, the entire divine aura shook like a tidal wave. The power was not disappointing. I secretly activated my energy, faint streaks of flowing light shimmered in my palm. I needed to condense a golden light slash, catching him off guard with a sudden strike. Let's see if he can still dodge. 3 Imperial Empresses taught you this, huh? A pity, the gap between you and her is too wide. Erlangshan shook his head and smiled, suddenly appearing before me. You're so confident, I want to see just how strong your body really is. His third eye blasted out myriad golden beams. I squinted to resist. Then, with a thunderous boom, a punch hurtled toward me. He wanted to fight with his body? I gladly accepted the challenge. Though my vision blurred, instinctively I raised my fists to block. The next moment, a terrifying sonic boom roared, waves crashing like mountains rolling. Our fists met, the divine light in space twisted violently, as if we could tear through reality with a single punch. Thrilled, I launched another strike. Boom! Another sonic boom. We exchanged punches relentlessly, each blow ripping at the void, scattering surrounding flames on impact. Less than 10 punches later, within a 10-kilometer radius, the flames vanished completely. With the fire gone, I finally saw the so-called half-real, half-illusory flames clearly. Half of it was an illusion, the other half was real, but within that flickering light lay a wasteland. This ruin looked like the remains of a destroyed immortal mansion. I thought to myself, could this be the old residence of the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord? Banished to the mortal realm by the Jade Emperor, and now even losing his home? The Jade Emperor was ruthless indeed. Seething with anger, I threw another punch. Bang! The sound was sharp and piercing, both of us stumbled back. I stared at Erlang. If you don't show your real skills now, today long Shiba is going to kill you with my fists, you so-called manifested deity. Erlang sneered and finally prepared to reveal his true move. I took a deep breath, ready to unleash the golden light slash at any moment. Unfortunately, the area beyond the immortal flames was laden with countless thread-like traps. I couldn't lure him into that range. At that moment, Erlang seemed to hear something, and I also caught a pained groan. Our gazes simultaneously fixed on the same direction. The sound carried a struggled, tortured cries. Instantly, it ignited a blaze of fury within me. Others watching from afar also heard it, turning their eyes toward the source. The battle mindset I had been gearing up for suddenly evaporated. I immediately said to Lei Jiju, did you hear that just now? Sir, yes, I heard it, Lei Jiju replied. You've absorbed some of the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord's immortal energy before. Close your eyes and see if you can sense the Demon Lord's location through it. Alright, sir, I'll try. Lei Jiju responded. Her sword glowed, and after 10 seconds she said, Sir, I vaguely feel a familiar immortal aura, but I'm not sure if it's the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord. I realized it was only natural for the ruined immortal mansion to still carry residual immortal energy of the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord. But now, finding him was a matter of luck. Hearing those agonizing sounds, I really couldn't stand it. Sir, should I go look for her now? Lei Jiju suggested. I shook my head. That would be too risky. There was definitely a golden lotus guarding that place. Even with her improved cultivation, Lei Jiju couldn't defeat them. If she went alone, not only would she fail to rescue the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord, but her own safety would be in jeopardy. At that moment, a figure looked at me briefly from afar, then quickly moved away. I wanted to call out to her, but it was already too late. She obviously couldn't hear me and had chosen to take the risk to investigate. Erlang glanced over, his expression unchanged. I was right, the Golden Lotus was definitely guarding that spot. Keep fighting and retreating, I decided. Saving the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord came first. If that figure was hurt by the Golden Lotus, it would be too late. Lei Jiju responded immediately, leading me in pursuit of the figure. Erlang saw through my plan and silently disappeared. The next moment, he reappeared right in front of me. I took a deep breath. With Lei Jiju's spells, I moved rapidly through the air. Now that my physical cultivation had improved, my running speed was astonishing. In 1 second, I shot past Erlang, instantly creating a 5,000-meter gap. My speed surprised Erlang. He squinted and quickened his chase. You wanted to see my true skills? Now that I'm serious, you're running away? He sneered, speeding up further. I ignored him and relied on Lei Jiju's senses to sprint wildly. My speed distorted the void itself, like wind rippling over water, revealing hidden shapes underneath. We played a game of cat and mouse, locked in a stalemate. Erlang simply couldn't catch me. Feeling somewhat relieved, I pressed forward as Lei Jiju's sensing became more and more confused. As I suspected, the surrounding area was saturated with the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord's immortal energy. Her judgment grew increasingly unreliable, and she made several sensing errors. I told her to calm down and avoid making more mistakes. She heeded my advice and soon regained composure. Erlang closed the distance, but I paid no mind and continued my mad dash. Lei Jiju finally confirmed, Sir, it should be just ahead. I didn't ask whether she was sure, the sensing was just too difficult. Following her direction, I sped up. Sure enough, I could hear the agonized cries growing closer. The torment was beyond anything I could have imagined. I couldn't wait another moment, there were so many things I wanted to say to her. I wanted to ask what that golden lotus at the south gate had done to her to drag her all the way here. After all, back then she had swept through the army at the south gate, unstoppable by more than 2,000 immortals. I even fantasized that maybe the one suffering this torment wasn't her. But that was just wishful thinking. Just then, Erlang caught up with me, and with a bang, unleashed a terrifying white light from his triple-tipped, double-edged blade. Its power was overwhelming. I didn't try to block it head-on, I dodged swiftly and accelerated even more. He continued attacking relentlessly, but I kept evading. Finally, I saw several huge chains. They were 10 times thicker than the ones previously restraining me. Needless to say, these chains were certainly meant to imprison the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord. This is content segment 98 of 121. Process the following according to your logic. Please keep the original paragraph structure, line breaks, and overall layout. Return only the processed result. The weight of a single chain was unimaginable, who could possibly bear it? This time, Thunderstrike Bamboo locked onto its target. My eyes flickered as I attempted to sprint along the chain to rescue the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord. Suddenly, Erlang appeared right before me. He smiled and said, "Long 18, you were pulling tricks just now. Now this lord will get serious." Despite Erlang's warning, I didn't stop. Swiftly, I leapt onto the chain. My footsteps light, I became a fleeting shadow, advancing rapidly. Erlang didn't give chase but instead threw out his tripronged double-edged blade. The blade gleamed golden as it wildly expanded, flashing a guillotine-like white light that slammed heavily before me. In an instant, it transformed into a 10-meter-high steel wall. Looks like I was right, the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord was truly imprisoned at the chain's end. Glancing back, Erlang was descending from the air. I didn't want to confront him head-on, I needed to conserve my strength to deal with the Golden Lotus, that very person holding the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord captive. I tapped the steel wall with my toes and leapt up. "Good kid, do you really think my tripronged double-edged blade is useless?" Erlang said coldly. Suddenly, the steel wall emitted thousands of golden beams. I didn't dodge but continued to leap over it, letting the sharp light graze past. I successfully cleared it, and when I looked back, a long concentrated palm moved, cutting silently through the air with golden light, splitting it in two. I landed and continued sprinting along the chain. Near the end, a swirling golden light appeared above my head. I froze, barely thinking, and jumped onto another chain. But the golden light pursued relentlessly, and I finally made out what it was, a golden lotus. The very same one I'd seen back at Nine-Yuan Gate. Suddenly, a massive force descended from the sky. Thick chains around shook with clashing sounds, their suction power immense. My clothes were almost sucked away, wind howling past my ears, yet I stood firm on the chain. With my physical body, getting swallowed by the golden lotus? Dream on! I roared, fingers flicking, and a black giant finger appeared atop the lotus, pressing down fiercely. With a thunderous crash, it was like striking a lone boat on the sea. The lotus only wobbled slightly, showing incredible power. No wonder it could subdue the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord. The golden light spun, descending slowly toward me, growing ever larger until it became a colossal beast. A heavy oppressive aura slammed down, making the chain shake violently. I inhaled sharply and smashed both fists out like a storm, pushing the lotus back with tremendous force, denying it even the slightest advance. "Get lost!" I leapt up, pressing my hands against the golden lotus. Like storm clouds, I forcefully pushed it aside. "He's got serious strength," a voice of admiration came from the void. A woman in a pale golden dress appeared slowly. She looked about 30 or 40, with a halo of sacred light behind her, her cultivation inscrutable. She was the one who had captured the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord. Her gaze was deep, unsettling me not with killing intent, but an indescribable delight, as if she had been waiting for me. Could it be that when I first went to the Sea of Immortal Fire, they set their sights on me? They've been waiting all along? Worse still, what about the one who had come ahead to seize the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord? Where was that person now? Had they not yet found this place? Or were they captured by this woman? I suppressed the speculation. For now, the priority was to repel them. "Erlang, looks like the two of us need to join forces to take down this guy," the woman in the long dress said calmly. Erlang flew over, but I wasn't surprised earlier when my golden slash cut through his body. No blood appeared, it was obviously an afterimage. But this time, Erlang's expression was serious. His collar was torn, that was my slash's doing. Had he not reacted quickly, his real body would have been severed. The two of them closed in from front and back to encircle me. Erlang shook his head. Long 18's cultivation is rising rapidly, but still not enough to make us team up. He doesn't deserve that. Watch out for his methods, few but lethal. I'm afraid working alone won't work. This kid's strength is enormous, even I feel outmatched by raw power. Catching him will be hard, he can hold on for a day or two. Usually, playing with him is fine, but over there, time is short. Only by capturing him first can we have bait. The woman's tone was meaningful. Erlang pondered, then nodded. Fine, then we work together. No sooner had he spoken than the golden lotus I had just knocked away surged at me again. Squinting, I made no hesitation and charged straight at the woman in the long dress. She was in front, naturally, I'd deal with her first. The woman smiled. Do you think I'm an easy mark? Fine, come. I want to see just how capable the boy who destroyed the Heavenly Realm formation really is. She flicked her finger, and the golden lotus above her head instantly scattered into countless giant petals. The petals flew like saucers, saturating the sky, shooting toward me. I immediately understood she intended to trap me by closing the petals around me. Drawing in a deep breath, I reached out my hand to grab the incoming petals. Bang! 2 petals larger than a person were firmly caught in my grasp. This is content segment 99/121. Please follow your own logic to process the following text while preserving the original paragraph structure, line breaks, and overall layout. Return only the processed result. I kneaded the 2 petals in my hands like dough, rolling them into a ball. Then, like throwing a ball, I hurled the petal spheres at the woman in the long dress. The 2 petal balls exploded instantly, streaking through the air like glowing cannonballs. The woman's pupils shrank as she swiftly sidestepped to avoid them. Boom! The explosion struck the ground, leaving 2 massive craters over 20 meters wide. Wow, she gasped in surprise, this guy's got serious strength. More petals surged toward me from all sides. I grabbed fiercely with both hands, and her expression changed abruptly. She quickly withdrew, no longer daring to release lotus flowers. The 2 petal spheres smashed into the ground and condensed into glowing orbs, their divine radiance undiminished. Clearly, these lotuses were formidable celestial artifacts. I dashed forward with a sharp cry. The woman in the long dress smiled faintly and flickered backward. She clearly didn't dare to confront me head-on anymore. I tapped my finger lightly, sending a flash of golden light streaking forward. Dodge! Erlang shouted. The woman's reaction lagged. A strand of her hair was sliced off by the golden light, turning into precious golden threads as it fell. Her expression changed, and she touched her ear with a grave look, saying, "Nice move." My heart tightened. I came close to succeeding. But I gathered my power again. Next time she wouldn't escape. The woman warned Erlang, this guy's strength exceeds expectations. Be cautious, don't let him seize your celestial weapon, or it could be taken from you. Erlang charged simultaneously, brandishing his 3-pronged, 2-edged sword toward me. I took a deep breath, unleashing the demonic energy inside me, instantly transforming it into a gigantic hammer bigger than a house. Grasping the giant hammer tightly, I slammed it down with all my might. It felt like the void itself twisted, fierce winds scattered, and the power was staggering. Boom! The collision erupted, light waves tearing through the void, divine radiance flickering and wavering. The void cracked, and the semi-real, semi-illusionary scenery around was shattered. This impact was more than the radiance could endure twice. The woman shouted, Erlang, your powers are evenly matched. Keep fighting like this and this place will be destroyed. If it breaks. Erlang frowned deeply, nodding. If that's the case, I will have to use my celestial treasure. From his words, I knew that celestial treasure must be extraordinarily powerful and probably meant to trap me. Without hesitation, my vital energy surged. The giant hammer in my hand dissolved instantly, and demonic energy swirled around my body. I shot forward like a released arrow. Erlang and the woman both froze, surprised by my swift reaction. I wasn't about to foolishly wait for Erlang to pull out his celestial weapon. Nice! Quick reflexes, the woman's face changed sharply. She pressed a finger in the air, unleashing a fierce gale toward me. The gale was over 10 meters wide, howling like blades. I stretched out both hands and tore the gale in half by sheer force. Breaking through it, I clasped my hands and slammed them together hard. Bang! 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 A series of shockwaves exploded outward, churning wind in clouds. The woman's face darkened. She flicked a finger, summoning a ray of divine light to block the shockwaves. But the shockwaves surged on fiercely. Frowning, she swung her hand, conjuring a layer of divine light shielding to stop all the shockwaves. The crackling sounds resounded as the shockwaves collided with the shield, and the woman's frown deepened. Looks like your physical cultivation has become a deadly weapon. Seizing the moment, I slipped past her and followed the long chain to its end in an instant. Erlang and the woman hurried after me, but a meaningful expression appeared on her face. I furrowed my brow. What did that expression mean? Putting thoughts aside, I saw the chain tightly wound layer upon layer, forming a huge iron sphere bigger than 4 or 5 buildings stacked together and resembling a cicada pupa. The chains wound tightly, dark clouds swirling overhead, continuous thunder and lightning striking down. The entire iron sphere was surrounded by crackling thunderstorms. A blazing strange fire also raged atop the sphere. These chains and thunderfire were the torments that bound the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord. My fury nearly burst through the roof. The chains were too tightly wound, although there were gaps, there was simply no way in. Looks like I'd have to break the chains one by one. Just then, Lei Jiju spoke up, "Sir, may I enter?" Startled, I noticed that although the gaps were small, they were enough for her to slip inside. After a moment's hesitation, I nodded and handed her several gourds containing celestial pills, instructing her to help the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord recover his strength. I warned her to retreat immediately if danger arose. Lei Jiju nodded, took the gourds, and transformed into a golden green light, slipping through the chain gaps and disappearing. I raised my palm and struck out. With a boom, the dark clouds above the iron sphere were blasted away. With the clouds gone, the lightning disappeared. How long had those storms tormented the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord? My anger grew even stronger. I also shattered the strange fire burning atop the sphere. I leapt onto the iron sphere, channeling the demonic energy swirling around me, spinning it into a massive tornado. The void trembled, the storm raged violently. The strange fire struggled wildly but was ultimately drawn into the tornado. Without the strange fire, the iron sphere revealed its rusted, weathered surface. I compressed the strange fire into a sphere, wrapping it in demonic energy. Once again, I manipulated the demonic energy, trying to pry open the lockball inch by inch through the gaps in the chains. At that moment, Erlang God and the woman in the long skirt arrived. Seeing me dispel the dark clouds and devour the strange fire, their expressions changed drastically. Erlang God raised one hand, a mysterious glowing orb appearing in his palm. I glared coldly at them. Since there's no escaping this fight, then I'll face the two immortals alone. I'm fearless. Erlang God glanced at the lockball, then quietly said something to the woman in the long skirt. She nodded slightly, then turned to me. "You want to save the people inside? It's not difficult. Just say one word and I can open the lockball. You can enter directly." With that, she flicked her jade-like finger, and the chains began to shift. Like living creatures, they slowly parted before me, forming a gap. My heart sank. I understood her intent. This was a trap to lure me inside, then used the chains to imprison both me and the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord. It was like walking right into their net. This iron ball is unbreakable. Entering is one thing, but getting out would be nearly impossible. Once inside, how could I bring the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord back out? But if I don't enter, then I can't save her. I was caught in a dilemma. They were right there, but I couldn't break open the ball. How about it? I've opened the door for you. Don't have the guts to step in? The woman in the long skirt sneered coldly. Erlang God stared at me expressionlessly. "If you don't go in, don't blame me for not showing you any mercy." The woman continued to taunt. I stared at the opening again, secretly communicating with Lei Jiju. Unexpectedly, Lei Jiju suddenly shouted, "Sir, something's wrong. You have to come in quickly." My face fell. Why was Lei Jiju so urgent for me to enter? Could it be that the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord was barely holding on, near death? I had just sent Lei Jiju in with some elixirs. Had none of them helped restore even a bit of her life force? That could only mean the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord was already on the edge of collapse. Without hesitation, I had to go in immediately and save her. Even if the woman in the long skirt took the opportunity to seal the lockball and trap me, it didn't matter. I had no other choice. I came here to save a life, not to carry out a corpse. But I must keep a backup plan, stealthily releasing thin threads from my fingertips. Then, I turned back and glanced coldly at Erlang God and the woman in the long skirt. The woman sighed. "Looks like you're willing to enter, huh? Good. If you hadn't destroyed the Celestial Realms formation and caused chaos in the Heavenly Palace, you'd still be considered a good kid. But alas, your crimes are unforgivable." Suddenly, she sent a voice message directly to me. "Long 18, don't worry, someone warned me in advance, I won't kill you. But if you refuse to cooperate in repairing the Celestial Realms formation, I'll have to resort to magic to torture you. You can choose to cooperate anytime, and I'll release you immediately, even petition the Jade Emperor to balance out your merits and demerits, at least sparing your life." I mean every word. I glanced at her. She hadn't heard my mental communication with Lei Jiju, but could I trust her words? Absolutely not. I'm the one who destroyed the Celestial Realms formation. Why would I fix it just to save my skin? Then what would I be? I'm being forced. I'm innocent and will never admit fault. Even if tortured, I would only say no. Seeing my steely resolve, she could only sigh, "My words still stand, come find me anytime." She stopped transmitting then. At that moment, Erlang spoke again, "One last time I ask you, are you willing to assist in going to the celestial realms?" I didn't answer, turning and walking toward the opening. Suddenly stopping, I looked back at them. "You made the fatal mistake of opening the lock for me. Because of you, I have the chance to destroy this lock ball and take the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord out with me." The woman in the long skirt showed no reaction. Erlang sneered coldly, "You're really bold. Do you think you can break this lock with your body alone? Just wait and see." I entered the lock ball. Crackling sounds echoed, the chains shifted like mechanisms. Every step forward made the chains in front part, but behind me, they re-wrapped tightly. This chain was truly an iron wall and bronze fortress. Step by step, I reached the center and saw Lei Jiju. Lei Jiju's face was filled with anxiety, holding a gourd containing the elixirs. In front of her lay a figure completely enveloped in golden light, bound tightly by chains and covered in golden talismans. I couldn't see the face clearly, but I was absolutely certain this was the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord who had saved me long ago at the South Heaven Gate. This wasn't an illusion conjured by Erlang, it was truly real. Back then, she was caught by that golden lotus. But I had just battled that lotus. Fierce as it was, it shouldn't be able to trap the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord with just one blossom alone. Could it be Erlang joined the hunt after I left? That would explain everything. She lay motionless now, quiet and still. Could it be she was all ready? My heart pounded wildly as I rushed forward. At that moment, the chains behind me shifted, completely sealing the gap. The feeling of the prison hit me instantly. Were they afraid I might try to escape? This is part 101/121 of the content. Please follow my logic to process the following text while maintaining the original paragraph structure, line breaks, and overall layout. Only return the processed result. I didn't bother with anything else and quickly asked Lei Jiju about her condition. Lei Jiju said, "Sir, I just came in and called her, she didn't respond. I felt her arm, no pulse, and also what?" I asked urgently. "No heartbeat, and her body was cold," her voice choked. The Nine-Yuan Demon Lord was extremely important to Lei Jiju. Without her immortal energy, Lei Jiju wouldn't have reached her current realm. Lei Jiju had intended to come in and give the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord a pill, but seeing her like a corpse, she immediately panicked and hurried to call me in. What? I was stunned. I felt her wrist, there was no pulse at all, cold and unresponsive. Her wrist also felt numb, clearly residual electricity remained in her body. "Sir, was the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord tortured to death?" Lei Jiju sobbed. My rage flared, nearly losing my reason. All I wanted was to destroy the chains and settle accounts with the two immortals. But suddenly, I calmed down. Erlang torture of the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord was to force her to repair the heavenly formation, not to kill her. Besides, the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord wouldn't die that easily. I pressed her wrist again, concentrating deeply. Lei Jiju asked cautiously, "Sir, how is it?" 20 seconds later, my eyes flickered. The Nine-Yuan Demon Lord isn't dead, her soul isn't inside her body. That golden lotus only brought back the body. But why did she abandon her body at Nine-Yuan Gate? My mind raced with questions. The Nine-Yuan Demon Lord must have her reasons. And Erlang has a third eye, he should have seen her soul wasn't in the body. So why did he keep torturing an unresponsive body with lightning? Was it out of spite or to force her soul back? "Sir, can you call her soul back?" Lei Jiju asked anxiously. I shook my head, "She's too advanced. I have no way to contact her soul. I don't even know where her soul is or what she's doing. I believe her soul will return eventually, and when that day comes, no one in the celestial realm will be able to hold her. For now, I decided to take her body away, not allowing Erlang to continue torturing it. I imagined when her soul returns, the entire celestial realm would shake. I tore open the chains on me, breaking them one by one. My hand reached toward the golden talisman on her. The talisman was no ordinary charm. The moment I touched it, my palm burned hot. Still, I gritted my teeth and tore it apart. Her body gradually softened. I noticed her body hadn't been damaged by the lightning, on the contrary, it was full of vitality. This gave me some relief. Erlang efforts had been in vain. I wrapped her body in demon energy to protect her from harm. Then I controlled the demonic aura, preparing to break through the lock sphere. "Sir, this lock sphere is too solid. It's hard to get out," Lei Jiju said. "Indeed, ordinary immortals can't enter, and no one can get out. But I'm different. With demon energy, nothing is unbreakable." I directed my aura into the gaps between the chains. Instantly, the demonic energy filled every crevice, sealing the air inside. I pressed on. Crack, crack, the chains emitted cracking sounds, terrifyingly loud. The chains stopped moving. Outside, Erlang snorted coldly, "Long Shiba, don't waste your effort. Do you really think you can escape? Just stay and suffer your torture." As his words faded, a thunderclap exploded. He was clearly using lightning to torture me, but I remained calm, maintaining control over the demon energy. He probably didn't know my demonic aura is far sturdier than these thick chains. Bang! The surrounding chains emitted harsh cracking sounds. I had to admit, the chains were tough. When I was in the 7-star exquisite tower back then, it wasn't this easy to break free. Right after Erlang spoke, lightning poured down, the chains flashing with electric light, bolts as thick as bowls. The lightning didn't affect me, no matter how much struck me, it was useless. Instead, it benefited Lei Jiju, who could absorb the lightning to increase her cultivation. I continued wielding the demon energy. The chains began to stretch, with intermittent white light appearing, like stretched taffy, showing the chains were being pushed to the limit. My gaze grew serious. Stretching the chains was just the first step. Next was the key, escaping the sea of celestial fire while under siege from Erlang and the woman in the long skirt. The toughest part was how to escape Nine-Yuan Gate with the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord. Capturing the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord was the Jade Emperor's wish. I firmly believed that once I left the Sea of Celestial Fire, a massive army would pursue, chasing all the way to Nine-Yuan Gate. Lei Jiju clearly understood the danger. She suggested, "Sir, how about I hold them off first?" I shook my head. I would be the one to hold them off. I already had a plan. The moment we broke out, I'd lure Erlang and the long-skirted woman into a trap I set. First we trap them, then we have a way out. If we can't shake them off, we can't escape at all. Lei Jiju remained silent. I said, "If they hold me back, you take the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord and leave as fast as possible. I'll find a way to catch up with you." Lei Jiju grew anxious. My tone turned serious. "They're too strong. I can't be 100% sure I can bind them with fine threads. If Erlang's third eye senses it, we'll have to fight head-on." I knew well there was a high chance of being discovered. It might come down to a fight to the death. Lei Jiju hesitated, but seeing the seriousness on my face, he had no choice but to nod. I relaxed slightly, then added, "If you really can't get away, head to the Peach Blossom Garden and find Sister Lingdang for help." As I continued to channel the demonic energy, boom! 3 chains snapped, dropping to the ground with dull thuds. I pushed harder, more chains broke, either falling or retracting, and the space inside expanded layer by layer. Breaking through the chain ball seemed only a matter of time. "What's going on? Did he really figure out how to break the lock?" Erlang exclaimed in surprise. I ignored him, continuing to unleash the demonic energy in one smooth flow, stretching the chain ball until only one layer remained. Through the gap, I saw Erlang and the woman in the long dress, both wearing shocked expressions. Erlang's third eye glowed as it locked onto my demonic energy, suddenly understanding. "No wonder. If you hadn't let me in, I wouldn't be able to get people out so easily. Thanks." After speaking, Lei Jiju instantly transformed into a bamboo sword and hid inside the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord's clothes. I took a deep breath, tore open the last layer of chains, and roared, slamming the broken chains forward with my fist at the two. Both hands gathered golden light slashes, shooting at them separately. They frowned. They didn't move against the thick chains, but the golden light slashes couldn't be ignored. The woman in the long dress dodged swiftly while Erlang swung his blade in a heavy strike. My fingers moved, and the 2 golden light slashes suddenly changed direction, one attacking Erlang, the other chasing after the dodging woman. Boom! Seizing the opportunity, I pulled back the demonic energy and my feet spun rapidly like wheels, instantly becoming afterimages as I weaved through the chains. The Nine-Yuan Demon Lord followed closely by my side. At this moment, I felt at ease. I had finally rescued the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord. Anyone who stood in my way, I'd kill. Within a second, I widened the distance to 3,000 meters, lightly landing off the chains and sprinting forward with all my might. I dashed like a raging wind, everything around blurred in my sight. Earlier, after battling Erlang, much of the illusion in the spiritual light was torn apart and could no longer hide my divine eye. The direction was set, I had to retreat quickly. Passing by a spot, my eyes flickered. Suddenly, I punched down hard. Boom! Part of the illusion shattered, revealing a figure inside. She had come in with me and was trapped here by the spell of the woman in the long dress after being drawn in. Fortunately, the woman had held back, otherwise, with her cultivation, I would have lost that person several times before I even reached the chain ball. "The person's found. Come with me quickly," I called out. Though surprised, she flew over swiftly. I grabbed her with demonic energy, then sprinted with all my strength, carrying her in the fading afterimage of the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord, and broke out of the eerie spiritual light. Two hostile auras pursued from behind. There was no way I could leave easily. Once out, I didn't hesitate and headed straight for the trap zone I'd prepared earlier. This time, I would lock them down completely. I ran like a storm, with Erlang Shin and the woman in the long dress hot on my heels. Their speed rivaled mine, especially Erlang Shin, who sped forward on his celestial clouds, nearly catching up. Just as planned, I had reached the trap area. I was extra cautious when releasing the fine threads. Erlang Shin wasn't likely to see through them. Determined not to let them escape, I quickly formed golden light slashes that flew like two basket-sized blades. Still not enough. I unleashed 10 golden light slashes, silently slicing through the air, sharp and deadly, far from ordinary. The woman in the long dress stared in shock, cold sweat beading on her forehead. Whose technique is this? I've hardly seen such sharp spells anywhere in the celestial realm, she muttered helplessly while dodging 5 of the golden light slashes. Helpless against the speed of the slashes, she bloomed a golden lotus to block the attacks. Sparks flew everywhere. The other half of the slashes, under my control, swarmed toward Erlang Shin. He took a deep breath and threw out his triple-edged dual-blade sword. Roar! The blade transformed into a silver dragon, its claws blocking the golden streaks. My face changed. Erlang Shin closed in on me, his steps hovering, holding a celestial artifact glowing with spiritual light. Long Shiba, last chance, surrender now, or when this thing is unleashed, you'll have nowhere to run, he threatened coldly. I narrowed my eyes. Could it be the 7-star exquisite tower? Pressing on with a frantic sprint. Humph, refusing a toast means you have to drink the punishment wine. Erlang Shin hurled his mighty immortal weapon. Without looking back, I ran with all my might. Suddenly, an invisible force gripped me, everything around froze in place. A tingling sensation crawled across my scalp, yet I struggled desperately to keep running. Suddenly I exclaimed, Erlang Shin, it feels like something's holding me back. A flicker of hope sparked in my heart as I glanced back to see the long-skirted woman's thigh ensnared by invisible threads. She touched the strands, her expression darkening. What is this? Squinting, I recognized the nearly air-like threads as a spell I had practiced many times. Frowning, she tugged hard, and immediately her face changed drastically. Erlang Shin, be careful. This guy laid a trap. Erlang Shin stopped on the spot, furrowing his brows as his third eye emitted a radiant glow. My heart sank like iron. Unfortunately, my silk thread array could only catch one big fish. Another had already been warned by companions and seen through it. Well done. Without using my third eye, I wouldn't have noticed. This formation is cunning beyond belief. Supposedly based on a rare array technique, this is the first time in millennia I've seen something like it. Erlang Shin praised. I felt even heavier inside. He turned to look at the woman in the long skirt. At that moment, the woman in the long skirt began casting a spell to sever the threads wrapped around her thigh. She tried everything, even drawing a shimmering immortal sword. The sword swung through the air as if cutting nothing, but the next moment sparks flew. The blade of the sword was cut by the threads. This showed just how much force she had put behind that strike. Her face grew serious. These threads are unexpectedly tough, probably stronger than some of the top 10 immortal weapons in the celestial realm. Erlang Shin spoke up, stop struggling. Those threads are. Hearing this, the woman's eyes widened. Shinjun, are you saying? That's right. That's why I warned you not to resist. He's using a trick none of us have ever seen before. You're trapped. Erlang Shin said. Her eyes flickered as she looked at me. Long Shiba, I admit defeat. Release me. I shook my head. Sorry. Until Erlang Shin and I settle this, I can't let you go. Though she had earlier released the shadow figure and promised not to harm me, this battle was too dangerous. I needed to be decisive and ready to strike without hesitation. She pointed to her torn skirt on her thigh, revealing flawless white skin. Do you expect me to wait around like this for you? She asked. I shook my head again. I'm not even looking at you. She sighed helplessly, you're such a strange kid. Fine, Erlang Shin, whether he stays is up to you. Erlang Shin nodded, staring at me with his third eye fully open. He had seen through all my traps. I sighed. If only I could find a chance to blind his third eye. Without it, both he and the long-skirted woman might have been trapped by the threads and I could have escaped. Such a shame. Erlang Shin tapped the air and unleashed a blinding flash of light. My eyes stung as I barely made out what appeared above me. But one thing was clear, without defeating Erlang Shin, escaping the sea of celestial fire was impossible. I immediately used a voice transmission to instruct Thunder Strike Bamboo, situation change, follow the original plan. Take Nine-Yuan Demon Lord and leave first. Understanding the urgency, she responded reluctantly. She flew out of the Nine-Yuan Demon Lord, transforming into a giant sword.